Hey everyone, welcome to the Mizrahi Perspective. Let me tell you, this has been a very significant week, potentially a historically important week in the Middle East, and I'm gonna explain why I say that. Um, if you recall, a couple of days ago, surely you recall, Trump said we are going to make Gaza into this American Riviera in the Middle East, a Mar-a-Lago on the Mediterranean. Um, and I rushed to make a video about this, and I said this feels like such a good moment for Palestine. This like stupid, just almost slip of the tongue on behalf of Trump. This didn't sound like a serious plan. This told us no serious preparations and no agreement with anyone was made to make this plan happen. So I took it as a very good sign, and it was my biggest video on this channel so far. So many people connected with this view. So this happened a couple of days ago, and right after that, this lady behind me, this Florida beauty queen, sorry, she was actually a Florida beauty queen. These are the people Trump is sending out as his delegates, as his representatives. She came to Lebanon, and she was sitting in the Lebanese presidential palace next to Michel Aoun, the new Lebanese president. And she was announcing to the Lebanese people, that the Lebanese system, to all of Lebanon, that the Trump administration was forbidding Lebanon from having Hezbollah as part of the government. And she was sitting there and thanking Israel for defeating Hezbollah from the Lebanese presidential palace. And she was wearing it's called a Magen David in Hebrew. It's David's shield, a Jewish symbol. It's not even a Jewish symbol. But it is now a Jewish supremacy symbol. This David shield. And what happened? Earlier today, it's now tomorrow morning in the Middle East. I'm recording this in California. Earlier today, Lebanon announced it was forming a new government, and Hezbollah and Amal, the two resistance groups, were going to be part of it. So Lebanon said no to this decree by Donald Trump, this imperial decree or command, or it's not a request. I mean, the nerve that these people have, I mean, it's unbelievable. But Lebanon said no. And we have now a series of events, a series of incidents, which are starting to accumulate. Because if you remember, around 2 weeks ago, Netanyahu and Trump, people from the Trump and Netanyahu circle, which is the same circle, the same club of psychopaths, they were starting to hit Saudi Arabia was going to normalize with Israel any minute. This was the impression they were trying to give. And Saudi Arabia very quickly responded, we are not going to normalize with Israel without a Palestinian state, period. Not going to happen. They didn't wait long, they didn't hesitate, they didn't equivocate. They said it openly and clearly. No normalization without a Palestinian state. And we have to understand the meaning and the significance of a Saudi-Israeli normalization. This is Netanyahu's biggest, wettest dream. Striking Iran, having regime change in Iran, and normalizing with Saudi Arabia, this completes the Netanyahu puzzle of the Middle East, the Zionist takeover of the Middle East. These are the two moves on the chessboard. This is checkmate, as Netanyahu sees it. This has economic, financial, political, huge implications. for Saudi Arabia, for Israel, and for the US. This normalization. And Israel wants it so badly. Netanyahu wants it so badly. And Trump wants it so badly. But Saudi Arabia said no, not without a Palestinian state. And not long after that, we were seeing and hearing Trump saying, we are going to take over Gaza. And immediately the entirety of the Arab world said this plan or this design is not going to happen. We are not going to cooperate with this. And Jordan and Egypt, which were or are supposed, according to Trump's and Netanyahu's sick fantasies, are going to accept Palestinian refugees or Palestinians who are going to be ethnically cleansed, according to this deranged vision. Egypt and Jordan said, no, this is not happening. And the Jordanian foreign minister actually said, we are prepared to go to war over this. If we have to go to war over this, we are going to go to war. And then we have this incident with Lebanon. So now we have not one, not two, but a series of events where Israel and the US want something from Arab countries very badly, desperately. They want normalization with Saudi Arabia desperately. They want to ethnically cleanse Gaza and have Jordan and Egypt accept this or be part of it desperately. And they want Lebanon, they want Lebanese people to take on Hezbollah and make Hezbollah illegitimate in Lebanon desperately. And they can't have their way. The Arab world in the past couple of weeks is saying no to the Israeli-American partnership or symbiosis. And these are very strategic no's. Very strategic. And I'm seeing this as a very encouraging sign. Something is changing in the psychology of the Arab world and the Middle East. It is still early to tell. It needs time to mature. I mean, there are tests ahead. But I have a feeling that something is changing in the psychology of the Arab world and Arab countries. I think that they are feeling that this shift from the less democratic administration to this new America, this new Trump administration, this is a shift they cannot stomach. The difference in style, mainly in style, not only in style, also in content, in essence, but the difference in style is making it impossible for Arab countries and Arab rulers to say yes to Israeli and American ambitions. And this is such a great, fantastic, and promising, very promising political development which is going on. Because you see, we had been used to seeing Arab countries accepting almost every diktat and every decree and command and quote-unquote request from the US and Israel. When the US decided last time when Trump was president to move the US embassy to Jerusalem, the Arab world said nothing. Although it was a big no-no traditionally, it had been, has been, and is a big no-no. But there was no backlash. And when the US invaded Iraq and killed Gaddafi, there was very little backlash or resistance in the Arab world, in the political establishments of the Arab world. We saw very little resistance. Now we're beginning to see actual resistance budding, emerging. And this is so encouraging. And I'll give you my theory why this is happening now. I mean, there are a couple of big reasons why it is happening now. This sudden emergence of a backbone and resistance. Well, first, what's happening in terms of the big picture, we all know that the power and the um, the image of the U.S. and the power of the U.S. are declining. The U.S. is not as powerful and not as impressive as it was a generation ago. It still wants to imagine it is in the same place and has the same power, but it's not the truth. And we all know it. And the global south is getting stronger and stronger. China is becoming this huge regional and international player, stable, reliable, peace-loving, fair in the way it trades with other countries. And there's BRICS, and Russia is again a serious player on the international level. So the world has changed from a generation ago when it was only the US, almost only the US. Things are changing. So there's this. But what is also happening, what is also changing, is the difference in personality almost, what I refer to as the difference in style of the American government is forcing Arab regimes to change their tune and to adapt and change the way they think and react to political reality. Because this new government, this new Trump administration, doesn't speak nuance and subtleties. I mean, US is always about subjugation and domination and exploitation and theft and murder, always has been. But liberals traditionally were good at masking this with double speak. They were talking about values and dressing nice, never using curse words, always being polite. But it was the same US that we all know from Vietnam and other places, and Afghanistan and Iraq, the same US. And from the ongoing genocide and Nakba in Palestine, which they always supported. But now the new people running the US can't do doublespeak. It's a different set of people. They want their domination and their subjugation. They want other people because there's no collaboration with these people. There's no partnership. There is only domination. There is only I tell you what to do and you surrender and you do as I say. The difference is, whereas liberals and the US traditionally was able to mask this, they don't. They don't want to mask this. They want to be able to tell people openly, you're going to do as I say. I'm going to humiliate you publicly. I am going to demand Egypt open its gates and take in Palestinians who were ethnically cleansed. And I'm saying it publicly. I'm saying this openly to the whole world. I'm not trying to use a back channel to do this quietly, to do this intimately, which was always stinking and disgusting. But they don't even try to do that. It is out in the open. They are saying Egypt and Jordan need to take Palestinians. And this is a new game. This is a game Arab countries, compromised as they are and pressured as they are, because we don't even imagine the immense pressures accepted and used against the Arab rulers. It's very, and I'm all for criticizing them. I'm not defending them. But we don't even imagine the kind of threat they are facing. But this kind of open subjugation and open domination is something they can't take. They can't take. They can't accept the US telling them, we are going to wipe off the Palestinians and you are going to help us. And you are going to be open about this. You are going to announce you're doing this. They can't do it. They can't do it. This is a bridge too far. This is a step too far. They can't do it. So this change in style from the Biden administration to this new Trump, this administration of idiots, is so beneficial to anti-colonialism, to decolonization efforts, because it makes everything so they can't hide, they can't mask, they can't do doublespeak. And this clarity is a blessing, because now everyone has to make a choice, and it is a very clear and open choice for everyone to see. And Egypt cannot say, we are helping the US finish off the Palestinian people. It can't happen. And if the Trump people and this administration, this group of people, weren't this stupid, they would get it, that you can't do this to other people. You can't force other people to publicly embrace their humiliation. It's not going to happen. If people have even the slightest, tiniest bit of self-respect and dignity, or any sense of a future, it's not going to happen. Israel has been trying to do this to the Palestinians for 100 years. And it can't make it happen. It can't create Palestinians that openly embrace their humiliation. It can recruit this agent and that puppet, small numbers, very clearly signaled and marked. They can't make the Palestinians embrace this mentality. You just can't do it to people in general. You can't do it. And this is the kind of change I'm seeing now. When I'm going to say a word about why this is happening, why this change in the US. Again, the US knows that its power is declining. So it's becoming more nervous and more anxious. And when you're anxious and nervous, you're bound to make mistakes. You're bound to judge reality poorly. And this is what's happening to the US as an entity. This is not just this group of people or that group of people. The US is becoming more anxious and less secure and less reassured of itself and what it's doing and its ability to read reality and control it. So its flaws are becoming more apparent because it's becoming more anxious. But what's also influencing this process is the people who are now running the US are not American elites. This is a big difference. Double speak and natural fake. You know what natural fake is? People who lie like they never even heard about truth. You know those people who just lie automatically, beautifully, eloquently. People who do that belong to the elites, always. This comes naturally to liberal elites. They can speak about poetry and how beautiful they are and how much they value democracy and human rights as they bomb and murder children and families. They have no problem doing this. They can do it in the middle of the night. No problem. But people who do not belong to the elites cannot do it. people who feel the underdog in terms of culture and the political arrangement can do it. They can't sublimate. They need things to be blunt and open. This is how they think and operate. So they can't be nuanced. They want things clearly and openly. They don't understand subtext. They only understand text. So they want everything to be clear, open, unmistakable. They want a title to say the most terrible things. They don't want it deduced or understood from the context and subtext. No, they want it stated, clearly and openly stated. And while this process is the product of American rot, and American decadence, and American decline, for the rest of the world, this is a huge blessing. This is a huge blessing. This is a gift of clarity. And I think that this may be, and I'm so hopeful I'm right about this, this may be the beginning of actual cultural, wide political change in the Arab world. Because for many years, Arabs weren't allowed to be political. They weren't allowed to be political. But the October 7 and the genocide and the great unmasking that unfolded, where everything became open, clear, and unambiguous, and the magnitude and intensity of events, and the emotional and psychological shock, and the way this new US is talking, and what it demands from Arab countries to be active in their own humiliation and potential destruction, this is very sobering for Arab regimes and Arab in general. Very sobering. And I think that this is what's going on. And I'm going to keep on following this. Inshallah, it's a trend. I wish it's a trend. I really would like to see more of this, because this is going to be very promising and very positive, a very positive indication about the future of the Arab world.